Welcome to Moonlight Madness, and today I'm doing readings I'm going to do Earth, Sun, Moon and Rising. Now, this is a new setup I've got, so I'm just playing around with it. But so far so good. Instead of using my phone that kept getting really hot, I'm now using an iPad, which has a heaps better camera and resolution. So, shuffling cards. Now, I'm doing Earth sign because I've recently lost somebody I really loved. My grandmother passed away on the 13th at 1:30 in the morning, and the reason I sensed something was going to happen back in, I think it was September. I was meant to get a job, and I was hanging around waiting to start this new job, and I was wearing her ring at the time, and her ring is like her grandmother's. It was her mother's ring, which is this one. Now, I got given that from my nana because she knew she's been unwell for quite a while, didn't know how long she had, and then I got a reading off her brother who passed away 24 years ago, which is, my son was born 4 months after he passed away. He was my Uncle Robert, who was a Scorpion. He came through to me in a day vision, and was showing me that he was coming to collect, meaning he was coming to collect my grandmother, which I'm very sad about. And I took the ring off because I couldn't wear it. I was too upset by the vision. And so what else happened is I had a visitation from an ex-partner that passed away back in 2019. I didn't even know he'd had a car accident, and I got the vision in 2020. I was on a bus, walking on the bus, and I could see this person that looked like my ex-partner that I almost married, with his lips stitched up. So obviously he's dead, but he was trying to talk to me. He's trying to come to me for some reason. And then recently I was had a fight with my son, and I had another vision of him. He was full. It was like he came up to me and said, "Oh, it looks like you've had a hard day. It's okay. You've done a good job. Your children are just growing up. You have to learn to let them go. They're now okay, but you've done your job. They're fully grown men." And so that was hard for me to hear. But he said that's okay because they will come back when they have their own children, is what he said. "I've done a good job and they will come back to you." So that was from a Leo. And the reason I got that impression is because the ring was on my grandmother's hand when I was dating him at the time. That was the connection. I never seen him again until I wore that ring. That was what started the first sighting of him, was the one when he came to me when I was walking by myself. And I told my friend, who's very religious, she said, "I believe that people can come through, that to people that are psychically gifted. And you shared DNA. We lost a baby together." That was why I could connect, and the ring was a portal for me to connect to him. So yeah, I had a visitation from, he would have been the guy I married. That was Matt. Now, I've got different type of setup. I'm picking up, the first card I've picked and pulled is the Hermit card. Now, the Hermit card is representative of a Virgo specifically, a Hermit card. So it's saying that you're hermiting right now. You're pulling away from society. You're shutting yourself away because you have some things to deal with. In my case, I've been shutting myself away because of grief. I'm grieving my grandmother. And it's very sad, and I know she was old. She was 92. She was supposed to go, but she shouldn't be here. She was nearly left the building back in 2022. So she's lasted a lot longer than anyone would have thought. And it's just, it was sudden. It was a very sudden death. We knew she was sick, but we didn't know actually how sick and for how long. No one can give us that information. So, I see that as being a major sadness for Earth signs. So Hermit card is talking about turning towards your spirituality in order to go through or to grieve or to say a prayer or to burn a candle. I'm doing love readings. This is the season. We're coming into February. We're coming into Aquarius season in the next, what's today, 13, 14, 16, 6 days time. We're coming into Aquarian season. So that's why I had to try to pull cards on fire, and all I got was Aquarian energy the other day. So if you are an Aquarian with a placement in Virgo, this is why you're hermiting right now. There might be another placement or a lineup of planets which involves the Virgo symbol. Or you may have Virgos around you, like I do at work. So with Virgo, it's an earth card. I pulled a gum nut from outside. My grandmother used to love reading me Snugglepot and Cuddlepie. In fact, she bought me the book when I was only 10, and it was the most treasured object I ever owned, because we used to read it in class, and I was very poor growing up. And I can remember being so wanting to have story time, because I got to see the beautiful illustrations by Enid Blyton of the Gumnut babies, with the Banksia men. I have fond memories of Snugglepot and Cuddlepie. It was my first book she bought me. She was very generous, my grandmother. So we've got here that you want to hermit away. You need to be a mentor or take a break from society, and a commitment to your spiritual growth. You may be teaching other people how to read, to do readings, how to be spiritual. They may be learning from you by watching YouTube, by watching the World Wide Web. The World Wide Web is Capricorn energy, so right now you've got a Capricorn in your midst that's crossing your path. You may be also exalted on the platform through social media. People may start to follow you. You may start to get a big following. A brilliant success, the freedom to go in any direction, a journey that is now complete. You may have gone through a major overhaul. You may be like Atlas, carrying the world on your shoulders, because you may have a Capricorn placement if you are Earth sign. Capricorns predominantly are workaholics, and they try to carry the world on their shoulders. They are the most dedicated workers I've ever come across. I work with one of them. She's an absolute legend when it comes to working. She slays it. She's a very good boss. She's a very good manager. She's a very capable manager, and she's only very young, and I really admire how she manages the team. We're friends as well, which is nice. It's a nice work environment. So it's saying here that you may be looking at your career right now and focusing on that and building your career to come out the other end of it by hermiting, by studying. You might be looking at doing a course of study this year. I know I'm looking at doing law. In the past, you have the Queen of Spring. Now, this is my grandmother, obviously. She was very influential on me. She was the reason I wanted to be a lawyer. I've always wanted to do law, but I'd never managed to do that because I didn't finish university. I didn't go to university. I didn't finish year 12, and I fell into pharmacy assisting, which is community nursing. I've done a lot of community nursing background and disability support. And then I got really interested in the beauty industry, and I studied hairdressing, and then I went into beauty therapy and makeup. Beauty therapy is just underneath a nurse as well. It's the same amount of knowledge that I could easily have gone into nursing from the beauty therapy background. It's all about the health, the body, the biomedical systems. Now, so it's talking about someone who is a Leo, Aries, or a Sagittarian. She's brilliant, she's loyal, she's talented, she's friendly. She's believing herself. She's wanting to help you maintain a balance between work and home life. She makes it look effortless. She juggles work, if she was working at the time, and children effortlessly. She makes it look so easy, but in fact it's just very good planning. She may have been really good at planning, like an events manager. And I've got that skill from my grandmother, I believe. She was a very good parent and very good at planning and focusing on what needed attention in the home for the children. She knew at a deeper level what they needed before they even needed it. They knew they needed it. She was also very psychic, my grandmother, on both sides of the fence. My grandmother, who passed away recently, and my grandmother, who passed away when I was 10. I never got to meet her. I don't even know her very well, but I do know that she was psychic like I am. And she was part of the spiritual church, which is probably why I never really followed any type of religion. I wasn't prone to religion for that reason. So we've got here the smoky quartz. The smoky quartz is really good for people that are Pisces, Scorpio, or Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer people. In your recent past, you may have come into some money, or been gifted some money, or you saved some money, or it's talking about you've inherited these psychic abilities, because it goes in generations. It's passed down through families. The DNA is passed along. honouring family traditions and making sure the security of your children or family or loved ones are looked after. I've always maintained work. I've always worked very hard to make sure my kids always had what they needed for school, because I was a single parent. And I always made sure I worked. I used to work 60-hour weeks when I was in makeup and skincare, because I was the manager, an events manager in a department store situation with Clarins, and my big boss, I was the big boss there, and I managed a team of people, and I did rosters and event planning and projection for financial projection. I was in charge of the business side of things, and I was a one-man show. I used to wash all the towels. I once took over a facial, signature facial event, because the girl that came in was too pushy, and my clients, I built up such a reputation that they used to follow me from Myers to David Jones, because it was across the way, because they really admired how I handled the business. And I gave away a free facial when I first moved into the job. It had been unmanned for 5 years. I made sure they all got a facial, and then they came back for the buy 2 products, get the 6-pack, gift with purchase for Clarins. So they got double whammy. They got that plus the facial, and I built up my rapport that way with the old clientele, and they all came back because of me, and that was really nice. I met some really nice clients. The next card I got is the 9 of Swords. This is to do with nightmares and panic attacks. I've been having nightmares for maybe 8 weeks. I've been waking up at 1:30 every morning for 8 weeks. Nana died 1:30 on the 13th of January. It was weird, because I woke up again that day that she died. I had no knowledge she'd passed away. No one called. No one had called anyone. It just happened. I was awake. My mother was awake, and my son was awake at 1:30, because he'd just come home from work, but he was awake. He couldn't go to sleep. He knew something was up. I knew something was up. My grandfather couldn't sleep. He was up every hour. He was so exhausted when they finally came in and said that she passed away. It was heartbreaking to watch. They're soulmates. So it's saying you have nightmares and panic attacks a lot. Focusing on worst case scenarios, allowing worry to grow out of proportion to the problem. Yes, I overthink and I over worry, because I'm also psychic, and I'm getting my visions usually when I'm asleep. So that's actually true. I get my visions and my downloads when I'm sleeping. And most of them are prophetic. I saw Matthew Perry die 2 hours before he died. That was back in, when was that? December, when he died. It was very sudden, but I did see him pass away. It came through to me in a daydream. I was wide awake, I was at work, and I saw him standing there, and I thought, what's happened? And I finished work, my kids came to collect me, and they said, Matthew Perry just passed away 2 hours ago. I said, yeah, I know, he visited me. It was just proof. I loved Friends. He was my favourite character. It's just unusual that I saw that. Then I saw a wading pool. I had a book that I was reading that he wrote. It was called Matthew Perry, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. So I was reading his book, and I got this impression off it about this wading pool. And in this wading pool, it looked like a tiny little pool, which was actually his spa, funny enough. I read the book before he died. The book was released, and I borrowed it from the library, and I got this impression of a wading pool, and him saying, look at all the lovely water and all the bubbles and all that. That's what I heard in the vision. I didn't know where it was and what it was attached to. And then when he died, they published that his last recording of him on his phone was saying about the wading pool and the water and the lights and the effects. Can't make it up. Then I had another vision 2 weeks ago about everyone shooting all these kids in a school, and I was running and I was trying to hide these children from this person that was trying to shoot them and shoot me. And I woke up, kept waking up at, like I said, 1:30 and then 4:30. Then I woke up 3 days ago with the same vision, and I went searching for it 3 days later on the 4th of January. I went searching for what was this about. It was to do with a mass shooting in Iowa where 5 kids were injured. I think 1 died. It's very sad. This is how I operate. I get shown things, but I don't know why they show me in an astral vision, because I can't do anything about it. I'm on the opposite side of the world, but I get shown it because I'm very attached to children and pain and anything that hurts a child. I'd be the first one to stand up for that child and to do justice for that child. Now in the future you have an Ace of Cups, Open your heart to love, the beginning of a new relationship or the rebirth of a current one, an awakening of psychic abilities or spiritual epiphany. So you earth signs out there, if you already have an ability, it's going to be magnified times 150. It's saying that this new love that's coming into your life, may also be a psychic medium who is on the World Wide Web. He may be a fellow reader. He may be younger than you, but have a mature outlook, but he's also psychic, and he connects with you on the physical plane, as in the 3D and on the 5D. I'm kind of talking to one of them on social media who is a psychic medium. And I get visions of him all day. Whenever I watch footage of his, I start seeing future events for him. I have been seeing this since 2020, when he first came onto the channel, onto YouTube, and I know that we're connecting on a spiritual level. So maybe we're meant to meet, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to have to travel to meet him or organise to collaborate with him, but he's just as gifted as I am, but he's younger than me. So I put a feather to cover the air sign. The air sign I'm reading for is the King of Winter. Knowledgeable, experienced, fair-minded, emotional people. This is currently talking about, if you're an earth sign, you are currently coming across as an air sign, because you have to make logical decisions based on episodes and things and places and people around you. You may have to go and do public speaking. Now I'm going to have to do that at my grandmother's funeral. I want to say a eulogy and talk about how impactful and what an amazing grandmother she was to me, and great-grandparent to my children. So that's something I have to do, and it's going to be from the heart, but I'm going to make sure it's well spoken and it's correctly put out there for everyone to hear what an outstanding person she was. She's the reason I wanted to go into law. She could argue the pants off the table. She used to debate with my grandmother, who was a Scorpion, who also liked to argue and very smart. But my grandmother was a savant, a very, very intelligent woman. I get her psychic ability. I've had it passed down. I believed I got it given to me when I died and came back in 2018. And ever since 2018, I've been able to see dead people. I've been able to see future events. I saw Black Lives Matters, I saw COVID, I saw all of it before it even happened. And I saw the war that's on its way, coming. Justice card, you may have to sign a lease for a house, or sign documents that involve the law. It says, review the details carefully, you will win, in the end, a fair and objective decision. You may be going through a legal battle with someone at the moment, but you're not even sure how come you are. It might be hidden from you that you are being surveyed and you are being watched and you are being investigated into. They're not going to dig anything up because you've been answering everything correctly and not detached, but emotionally and fair. I would never lie about something. I don't lie. That's just not what that's not how I've been built. I've always been told to tell the truth. And if you try to lie to me, I'll see right through it. The Princess of Swords is to do with someone else who's like you, who is also all about social justices. They're very passionate about the law. They know right and wrong. They're very intellectual. They operate on a cerebral level. Information that can help you, but which may also be difficult to hear. Speaking the truth with kindness. Someone who's an activist, an indigo child or adult. Now, this Princess of Swords can be an Aquarian, Libra, or Gemini around you, who's younger than you, who's taking notes from you. You may do risky moves that they may be impressed with but too scared to do on their own. It's possibly because you use your gut. Now, this person hasn't learned to listen yet to their gut, but they will know that I said to my son today, I did a reading for him, he's a Libra, I'm an Aquarian. I said you need to trust your gut more. Whatever you feel, listen to it. I came into my psychic ability when I was 13, but then I had an awakening when I was 24, when I had my first son, and then at 28 when I had my second son. I saw an angel like that, thousands of angel wings covering my son Christopher before he was born, on top of a building with rubble on it. I got that vision 8.5 months pregnant with him, and it was September 11th when I woke up with this vision of this little baby, this little Cupid that was under the angel's wing with these massive curls. He was the most beautiful child I'd ever seen, and I knew that it was my son. That was Christopher. He was shown to me. I'm usually 2 years out. That was him at 2. He looked exactly like that at 2. I'm like, oh, there's my Cupid. Now, the reason he came through so strongly to show me this worldwide effective thing that affected the whole world, the Twin Towers, is because he's got a Gemini placement. I have a Gemini placement, the twins, right? So he was actually come straight through from a past life, which would have involved someone in the medical or health profession that was an African American, that he was in a past life. He's come through in this life to spread the word and protect people of colour. He's always loved black people, people of colour. He's always stood up for the rights of those people. And so I've always known that he, from a past life, he was that person who may have been musical and was also a health professional. That's the vision I had. And that was the night I saw my Uncle Robert come to me as well, say, "Where's your mum?" I said, "She's in the other room." I was staying there with my fiance. We were staying overnight. She was in the other room asleep, and he said, "I have to tell her something important." He was in a pink shirt. He's passed away. He passed away when my son was before he was born. So my son was now what old was he? He was 2. It was 2 years later. He was young again, so I knew he was dead. So I had something very important to tell her. And then he went and disappeared into my mum's room, and then we got told 3 years later, I think it was, or maybe 5 years later, that he'd left some money to all of us when he passed away. He was a Scorpion. My son is a Scorpion. It was all very orchestrated by heaven, I believe. They don't do things by accident. The next card I've got is the King of Summer. This is your future person. For if you're an earth sign with you have earth placement, but you're an air sign, or vice versa, you have a water sign coming in for you, who is a psychic medium as well. And on the World Wide Web, he may have a placement in Capricorn as well, but he's coming through as the Scorpion person, Cancer or Pisces, who is very loving, very mature, warm-hearted, a romantic partner you can trust. Excellent advice that comes from the heart, getting involved in cultural or creative endeavours. And I'm doing a spell at the moment which is involving a red candle. And what you need to do is burn it for 1 hour, and you say, "Bring love to me." It's not just passionate love, it's love. And I got it out of the Good Witch's Guide, a modern day Wikipedia of magical ingredients and spells. It's by Sean Robbins and Charity Bedell. It's a beautiful book, and I love it because I love the series called Discovery of Witches. And in the Discovery of Witches, they had this certain fable, this certain rhyme about doing spell work, and it was just really nice. It talks about spelling or turning by sewing. Like sewing was a form of protection around people to stop, to cover them so they're protected. And that's what the spell was. It was taken out of this book. I figured out where they got the spell from. It was this book. I found it by accident in a second-hand bookshop when I was going through my stuff at the time. But the movie's quite amazing. Here it is. By paths shared, 2 hearts once divided now become united. By round of 1, the spell's begun. Tie 1 knot. By round of 2, our relationship to renew. Tie another knot. By round of 3, so it must be. Tie knot. By round of 4, apart no more. Tie knot. By round of 5, this spell's alive. Tie knot. By round of 6, this spell I fix. Tie knot. By round of 7, the spell reaches heaven. Tie knot. By round of 8, I create this fate. Tie knot. And by round of 9, our love is fine. It's a love spell. It's a charm that you're connected with your person that you miss. To reconnect with someone, it's a knot charm. Yeah, you use a thread, like 2 ribbons, and you wrap it around into a love knot. But that's all I have for Earth signs today. These spells do actually work when you are focused and you have good intent and then there's no anger or malice behind them. It is purely a love spell. I've done one of these spells to pull in a mate that I was with for over 20 years as a friend and 5 years as a relationship, my boy's father, and I did it on Valentine's Day. There's a Cupid arrows love spell where you actually use 3 strands of ribbon, pink, white and mauve, and you plaited it and you wore it around your wrist, and it draws love in. And I asked where he was from, and I did another spell to find out where is he coming from, and it said from overseas. He's not from this country, he's a foreigner. Sure as eggs, I met him in May 16th. I can remember the date because I went to see my mother in Newcastle at the time. I lived in Sydney, and by May 16th I was introduced to this guy, my beautiful boy's dad, who was drawn in by the spell that I did. Now, I can't tell you, I don't know whether it was the spell or the intention that I put out there, or the magical knot weaving that I did with the ribbon, or is it because my heart was looking for him and his heart was looking for mine, but we found each other. And so I'm doing this spell again, and it's talking about knot magic, knot spelling, using, creating, crafting, crocheting is a form of a spell work. That's all I have for you today for earth signs in the tarot side of things. I've got another deck that I'm going to pull, and this is my favourite fairy oracle deck. I'm just going to shuffle, and I'm going to pull out 2 cards. And the first card I pulled, Shimmer, is a really good card. The cloak of confidence, allure, charisma and glamour. You're shining at the moment, earth signs, and you're going to draw in this lover. Dragon's Fae. You may be working for a company that honours pets or has a symbol of a pet as their logo, like Peter Alexander, which I currently work for. Yeah, it's talking about animal magic. You may need a pet because the pet rescues you. And there's a shirt that's in Peter Alexander that says, "My dog rescued me." And it's true. The animal finds its owner, and maybe you'll find your person through a pet. Maybe they've got a pet. If you don't have a pet, they may have a pet, and you'll find them through the pet. You may go walking in a dog park and meet them up there. Random things happen when you get out and you're not actually looking, you're just walking and just doing your own thing. You're doing meditational work, which is keeping your mind still. So we've got 39. Shimmer. You will soon be spending time with others who lead you to believe that you are less than. Be aware that in order to counteract that egoic tendency to go into your own faults, you may draw upon the fairy power of glamour and draw around you the cloak of enchantment. This will help you protect yourself from your own tendencies to submit to fear and sometimes not handle yourself as beautifully as you are able. The fairy power of glamour is yours to be called upon. It will change your appearance ever so slightly. You'll be more beautiful. Your hair will be longer, more lustrous. Your eyes will be larger and shine more, and your skin will be dewy. You will carry your body with grace and honour, and you will radiate warmth and respect for yourself and for others. When this power is upon you, you will be drawn to you, and the glamour will get you through many a tough meeting. It is very powerful, for when we need to ask for something from those in perceived authority, your fey appearance may also be emphasised when you call upon the glamour. Shine your light on yourself. Dragon's pet is 42. 42. Communication between species, animals, pets, magical companions, and guardianship. You have watchdog energy around you. A pet, animal, or plant is an ally, is relaying information to you. Please tune in and listen to what is being shared with you. You will know when energy is changing around the borders of what is called your home or land, in time to take positive and perfect action. A dog may bark at a person it doesn't trust, for example. A plant may wither after a certain being has visited. All of these are strong messages from your companions and allies, and the fairies communicate with them all the time. If you wish to connect with the Fae, your companions are one of the first sources you may turn to. Deepen and strengthen the connection, for they already have it and they're already sharing these messages with you. Boundaries, receptivity, messages from the animal or magical world are flying between you and the Fae. So there's a pet that's going to come into your orbit. So that's all I have for Earth Signs today.